All right. Hey, everybody. We're going to do it a little bit different today to try to just see how you like this different format. But today we're going to talk about First Amendment auditors and this so-called 21-foot rule. We're going to talk about all this hocus pocus and dispel it. And we're going to talk a little bit about extending the scope of the stop here.
Playing from desktop VFSGD 97.
And something that BZ pointed out earlier today that had Chili's camera footage been introduced into evidence, we would have seen, and obviously it will give him grounds of new evidence for a new trial or potential ineffective assistance of counsel arguments for it not having been entered. So we're going to go into that really quick, but first, go ahead and say hi, everybody, and give out your channels if you have them. Go.
BZ Watchdog. If you guys can help me out, you guys can go over there, like, subscribe, share, comment on videos. Help me out. I'm getting to the point where I'll be almost fully monetized to where I can do more cop watching and more audits. Where I'm not having to work full time, I can kind of split my week apart a little bit and do more videos so where you guys can watch more stuff.
And it's Let's OTVO. I've got a channel that most of it, the stuff that's on there is pictures of a grandson, but I'm not in it for the hits and the clicks. I'm here to serve it in justice.
All right. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and kick to another edition of Ask Michael Eline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel.
Here to learn.
All right. So really quick. So I'm going to turn off the mics for these gents for a bit because I'm getting some feedback. And I just want everybody just to say thank you again for showing up on National Easter Bunny Awareness Day. And I wanted to get through this slideshow as fast as I can. So we're hearing all this stuff about this rule that's used by police officers called the 21-foot rule. And I want to talk about that really quick. And basically, it's a rule that's used by the police to justify a shooting, pretty much. That's the context that it's normally used in. You know, if you shoot someone at or within 21 feet, it's a justified shooting. And so a lot of courts who don't know, I mean, I don't know of many judges who have ever even been to a gun range or shot, but clearly, even if they had, it's very rare that they would be taught something like the 21-foot rule. You know, I do CQB, so I understand it, I get it, but we also know that modern firearms training and dynamics have improved to the point where 21 feet isn't as important as it was before, with proper movement. You know, movement is your friend. We can talk about that in another video. I'm not here to talk about how great I am of a shooter, but all 6 of the 12 U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeals agree that we have a right to film police officers. They agree we have a right to do it. We have a right to be there in film. California codified it into Penal Code Section 148. I think it's sub G. I may be wrong. Put it in the comments if you think I'm wrong.
Mike, it's 148G.
Right. Outrageous. That's so, still remember. Okay, so hold on one second here. So basically the only time that you have to identify yourself in Nevada, from what I found, again, I'm not a Nevada lawyer. I'm licensed in California and Texas. And anything I say, don't construe it as legal advice. I'm just telling you what I think from a layman's perspective, who is a legal expert and someone who teaches the law. And my opinion is, if it was me, there would be no basis for the officer to argue that Chile ever refused to identify. So that wouldn't be a valid basis to detain him or to charge him with anything. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that'll come up in a minute. Now, the nexus of the 21-foot rule, it comes from this ex-cop who is really famous. He's sort of like, I guess, the Chesty Puller of law enforcement, Dennis Toiler. I believe it's Toiler or Tuller, but Toiler if it's German. And this study found that the average healthy adult male running with a knife or other contact weapon in their hand could cover a distance of about 7 yards in 1.5 seconds. And so they say that's the average time that it takes an officer to draw a sidearm and get a double tap on target center mass. So that's for a man-sized target. So I just want to show you. So this is, here's the deal in the corner, because I snapped this shot from his video, but that Chili's over here.
Bork got a makeover.
Chili's over here. You can see Chili in the blue sort of pulley, and he's got cell phones in his hand. He clearly doesn't have a knife or anything. And that's also going to come up in a second here. That's what
also, Mike, also point out where he's actually standing there too.
Yeah, so you can see he's standing at this white line.
In front of the white line.
In front of the white line. Remember, that's going to come up later too, because the officer says that he wasn't backing up and then retracted that and then said he only backed up a couple of inches. But we know that's not true, and we'll show you all that. But anyways, what BZ Watchdog really helps a lot too. But I just want to get into this with you. So this Fields case in 2017 found that upholding the public's right to film the police is a right that even goes even beyond protection of the press, because it protects the public's right of access, the First Amendment, to information about their officials and public activities. And that's the big problem. We see this big push with all these government agents and agencies and public officials trying to declare people like us who support the First Amendment as crazies, trying to use their friends over at the NIH, right, to paint us as mental cases, trying to paint the people who support the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, as crazy sovereign citizens, right? So they can say we're all crazy and then be able to target us and make us look like crazies, right? The village idiots. But really what these people are doing, and they may not do it perfectly, is they're protecting the right of access to information about officials' public activities. So what people like Chili are doing, just so you know, especially all you judges out there who really don't know or you're on the fence about this issue, because I was definitely on the fence about the cussing and the swearing and all that stuff, right? But we'll get into that in a minute, because that's not.
Hey, Mike. Also, isn't this law like written somewhere, like as in the spirit of the public interest or something like that?
It's all we're going to get into that, man. But I'm just telling you that we've got this Fields case saying no, absolutely. Like, filming cops is a big deal. It's not something to be trifled with. It's not something to try to say, oh, YouTube this, YouTube that. They're going to make money, so therefore, since they're going to make 50 cents for a month's worth of work of hundreds of hours a day, that somehow that justifies being thrown in jail. So really quick, I just want everybody to know that my research indicates that the 21-foot rule is not valid case law and never was. To talk about the 21-foot rule in court, even as part of police policy, when you look at the history of the 21-foot rule, it should have never been done, should have never happened in this case. It should have been immensely and strongly objected to. The 21-foot rule has to do with someone armed with a knife coming at you and being able to justify use of force within that danger zone. The officer already admitted that Chili was never a danger to him. So this should have never been an issue at the trial. It should have been profusely and strongly objected to. Say many people I've spoken to who are Nevada trial attorneys. I am not a Nevada trial attorney, but if it was in California, I would definitely second what I just said. Now, you can see here that this is from a depublished decision. Depubs are cases that we cannot rely upon or cite at all, ever. We're not allowed to do it. Unfortunately, many courts, especially lower courts, will use them as persuasive authority or somehow use them as a factual basis to try to justify a later case, but they're depublished for a reason. And this case was based on a very narrow set of facts where an attacker was coming at officers from further away than 21 feet. And they were trying to argue that those officers acted outside the scope of policy because they shot them further away. Totally off base. This is one of the things when I want to teach people the law so you can understand it and mean to keep it well, is you have to learn how to distinguish cases, even though this isn't a case that we should be talking about. So let's just move on really quick. So this depub basically provides that a 21-foot rule simply means the majority in that case agreed that, 21 feet may potentially, state of mind, pose a threat. Whatever. Okay. So basically we have an issue of the First Amendment versus shooting reaction time. We've got someone exercising a First Amendment protected activity, popping off to the cop. The cop doesn't like it. And in this case, the whole 21-foot rule argument had to do with the time to draw successfully and defend himself. BZ Watchdog is going to get into why that should have never even been an argument that was allowed at trial. This should have been like a directed verdict in favor of Chile. If this was in California, I would argue for something along those lines. Now, a camera is not a knife. You can see there's a picture of Chile on the right. There's a picture of someone hiding a camera behind their head, or not a camera, a knife behind their head on the left. So now,
there's the difference.
Now, right. So now, apparently, this was a Nevada case. I guess there was a written policy at the time that a person armed with a knife or a bat is a danger to an officer, and that would warrant 21 feet distance in order to be able to shoot that person. So as long as they're within 21 feet, it's open season. Go for it, right? So undisputed evidence was that the guy was advancing towards the officers in that case, just to try to eviscerate all you naysayers and people who call me chili suckers or whatever. I'm just a lawyer who looks at evidence, and I've got a good legal team. And we have this guy advancing towards the officers at about 12.3 feet per second. That's what the expert testimony elicited. So you got to look at that. He ignored commands to stop. In this case, Chile was backing up. So differences. So the majority in that case stated that if someone may pose a threat, that may pose a threat, blah, blah, blah. The dissent believed that this was a sort of an absurd rule, didn't like it. And because the dissent, like me, believed that they're just setting up a framework to justify an officer, to be a smart, high IQ, criminal-minded officer, to be able to violate your rights, because that's what happens. It happens all the time. I mean, watch some of these videos. You wouldn't know about this stuff if they didn't have these videos exposing it. And there's a compelling state interest in exposing it. Unfortunately, apparently the judge didn't talk about it for whatever reason. It almost like it wasn't part of the case, but it was a main component of this case, as we'll talk about in a minute. Now, the prohibition on prior restraint, because that's what this case is about in my mind. I mean, if I was doing this on a federal level as a civil rights lawyer, that's where I'd be going with this bad boy. So prior restraint basically is a limitation on restraints in speech until there's been a final judicial determination that the speech isn't protected by the First Amendment. So the court would essentially have to find that Chile's speech in recording, in doing what he was doing, there has to be a final judicial determination on that. Now, how that happens, again, I'm not a Nevada lawyer, but in my mind, that should have happened at the trial court level at some point. And it certainly, if ineffective assistance of counsel is argued, if that wasn't argued at the trial court level, would be argued on appeal. And this could just maybe go straight into federal court. I mean, I think this is a pretty egregious case when you look at the facts and you look at his videotape testimony and testimony evidence that was not entered into the record. Are you kidding me? The whole point of recording is so you have this as evidence, because if you look at his evidence and look at what was presented, you can clearly see that the evidence that was presented left out significant parts of the record that were exculpatory to Chile. And you're going to see that. So Nevada jury trial rights for a misdemeanor charge. This has been a big one that we've been talking about. Okay. Nevada jury trial rights, typically for a misdemeanor, if it's 180 days or less, you don't get a jury. You get a judge who acts as a jury, which a lot of people don't like because they think the judge might be biased, right? Maybe. So the way they normally do that is they'll whittle all the charges down if they've got a hanging judge so they can get them on that 180 no matter what. But in this case, it looks like the two charges that could have given 180 days each still stood and went forward for trial with the judge. So unless Chile's counsel or him stipulated, typically we would do that with a waiver in California. There would be a stipulation for something like that. I don't know how it's done in Nevada, but typically that would be on the record. Unless that happened, well, that potentially would be grounds for a mistrial in other jurisdictions that I know of, maybe even in Nevada. But I'm not sure about that. I need to know more. But just to dissuade people of saying, well, he was only subject to 6 months. Well, actually, that's not true. Subject to 6 months per charge, that's 1 year. That would entitle him to a trial by jury. Just so you guys know that, if you have friends, family member, don't know their rights, I just found that out. You can check it out online. I'll put a link there for you. So when can a police officer ask for your ID? Well, it's kind of not important, but it kind of is, because obviously Nevada apparently used to be a stop and ID state. I don't know that it is anymore. So assuming that it's not a stop and ID state, if it is, the only thing that I know of that's lawful is for a cop to approach you as a consensual encounter. So that's as soon as you engage in conversation, the investigation has begun. That's why you should never engage in a consensual encounter. Or if you're under what they call a lawful detention, which I would automatically assume I'm under arrest, or an arrest, which I don't think there's any difference between an arrest or a detention personally. Now, during these encounters, you may be asked to identify yourself. However, you do have legal rights, even if you're suspected of committing a crime. I recommend that you research Nevada and the state that you're in to find out the bright line answer. And if you're a lawyer, put it in the comments so you can help me answer questions for out-of-staters, because I get a lot of people from out of state that I can't help that I'd like to hook up. Now, the next thing is the applicable. Okay, so there's this other case. Well, here we go. Chile, this is one of the defendants. The applicable Ninth Circuit rulings that do exist, that aren't depublished cases, by the way, these are stronger. These are stronger than that 21-foot rule from a depublished case. Everybody, just remember, depublished case being used to lock people up, or apparently is a pretense or a pretext or some lawful basis to insinuate that that's any kind of a valid basis whatsoever to lock someone up. And then we have Ninth Circuit cases saying that you can aggressively shout and cuss at cops. You can be a jerk to cops. But guess what, everybody? Fordyce versus Seattle and Bernal v. Sack say you absolutely can do that, and you have the right to do that. And that's why auditors are so important, because they test the police. Because if the police don't know that, and if the courts don't know that, it's time to clean house. Everybody wants a civil society, but as soon as the police and the courts and everybody start acting civil in the eyes of the victims or the perceived victims, there won't be any reason to be doing these audits. I mean, obviously our founding fathers knew how important it was, that they found it to be among the most important parts of the First Amendment, to be able to hold public servants accountable. So that's, people should think about that, because you can see how the great Leviathan is trying to flip the script. So let's get into this really quick. So in this particular case, in Chase, well, anyways, I think this is argued in Chase. This is the Williams case. They're saying that this other guy, Williams, his actions remain protected, even if they were intended to interfere with the officer's activity, because there was no physical interference. So everybody listen to me. There was no physical interference ever in Chile's case. He was backing up. If there's no physical interference, you can be profane, you can be a jerk, and you can even intend to interfere. But as we will see in the next couple of videos in the next few minutes, the person in the vehicle who was smiling and looked like she had a crush on Chile was told that she could leave. And we're going to show you, you guys are going to be blown away. This is some really, really great research by BZ Watchdog. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn over. Let me get it up on the screen for you, bro. Let's get this going. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my microphone on mute, and I'm going to let you take over, my man.
All right.
Just tell me what to do.
Yeah, right here at the 13-second mark. Okay, I've dissected this better than here's the deal. No offense to him. I love Brian to death, but I watched this live stream last year and was putting comments in the thread saying it was horseshit, and I knew what he was going to get charged with because it's the common practice. But at 13 seconds, Bork talks about 21 feet. Well, it looks like he's more than 21 feet to me when he was sitting in that patrol car. And now he looks like he's on a mission at Chile. So why is he closing the distance if he's worried about his officer safety of 21 feet? Now, go ahead and roll that footage to 17 seconds.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
So now that he's at 17 seconds, now watch this as he rolls the footage. You notice Chile steps back. Did you see Chile's camera?
Tell me when to go.
You can go back from 13 to 17 and watch Chile's view of the camera back up as Bork is actually approaching him.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
See how he took another step back and off to the left, so that way he was a little further away. So now at 17 seconds, Officer Bork here has now stepped about halfway of that 21-foot rule, even though Chile's probably taken about a step or two back at this point to reposition himself because he doesn't know what this cop's doing. Now, he stops adjusting when Bork stops with his little Karen pose. And at this point, as soon as I say what I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to have Mike roll the footage. But what he tells Chili, and I don't know if you guys heard the courtroom proceedings, but Officer Bort lied on the stand and said he did not have time to give Chili a command to back off and tell him how far to back up or to a landmark. Now, this is word for word, and you're going to hear this in a minute, is he comes up and tells Chili, I don't care if you're filming, but you need to back away from my traffic stop. If you don't back away, I'm going to detain you. And at that point, Chili got a little confrontational and said, you're going to detain me how? Which way? Now, with that being said, that's almost word for word in this video. I'm going to have Mike roll it from 17 seconds to 24 seconds so you can hear exactly what I just said.
Back up. Back up, I'm going to detain you.
You're going to detain me how? In which way?
Obstructing. Get away from my car.
Actually, I'm standing right here. I'm at least 10 feet away, officer. I got to tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want, but just understand something. Your name will go on the lawsuit. Mind your own fucking business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy.
Pause it right
Go
there.
feed her.
You're being detained right now.
Okay, then detain me.
You guys want to say anything about this so far?
Mike, go ahead and pause it real quick. Yeah. Go back.
Isn't,
Go back.
isn't he saying something to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
kicking her
you're free
loose.
to go.
Should I roll that back real quick?
Yeah, roll it back to 17 seconds for me.
Okay, we're going to go all the way back to 17.
Okay, so since you rolled it that far, because I didn't know you were going to go that far, but
You got to tell me when to stop.
I told you to roll it and stop at 24 seconds.
Okay, 24. Okay, here we go again. I'm going to stop it at
17 to
24.
24.
Copy that.
My driver. Back up. Back up, I'm going to detain you.
You're going to detain me how? In which way?
Obstructing. Get away.
Sir, 24, sir.
Okay. Now, everybody heard that. That was 5 seconds that Bork told Chili that it's okay to film First Amendment protective activity, but he needed to back away from the stop. And then instead of telling him where and how or when to move, he said, if you don't move back, I'm going to detain you. So now he made a threat and he's already moved back probably about 1.5 feet based on the camera view we've seen.
Right.
So he's already now threatened Chili without even giving him enough ample time or distance to reposition himself. So that's why Chili is now questioning him on how he's going to detain him, because he's on a traffic stop. Now look at this girl. This girl's trying not to laugh.
Well,
This girl's
she's got a
her head
crush
down.
on Chili. She's got a crush on Chili, man, obviously.
Oh, she's loving how Chili's just putting his cop in his place. Now, if we roll all the way to 38 seconds, he's
All right,
going
here
to
we
tell
go.
Bork, hold on, don't roll it yet.
Yes, sir.
He tells Bork that he's a member of the press, which he already said it's okay to film. So Bork already understands twice now
Yeah.
that is a First Amendment protected activity of freedom of press.
Yeah.
And it's already been stated per Salinas versus Texas,
Yeah.
he's invoking his First Amendment right. And the way he calls Bork a little doggy and telling him to go back and do his job is Cohen versus California. Based on that, he's telling him how he feels, and how he needs to go back and do what he's doing instead of focusing on him. And as Bork's talking, he's interrupting him, which is City of Houston versus Hill. So Chili is doing everything according to district, circuit, and Supreme Court rulings to give him a foundation to sue this cop and lose qualified immunity, providing he takes any further action. Now, at the 40-second mark, you'll see the girl laughing and smiling and putting her hand over her face. At the 41-second mark, when Bork has obviously been maintaining eye contact with Chili this whole time, he looks away only after Chili calls him a little doggy. He puts his head down like a little crybaby, mad and pouting, and steps off with his right foot and decides he's going to go ahead and detain. Now, keep in mind, at the 45-second mark, he goes ahead and tells him he's going to be detained. And at that point, he forgets that he needs to release the girl from the traffic stop because he's already violated the Fourth Amendment right of extending the stop. Rodriguez versus United States. And when after he tells the girl you're free to go, Chili calls him out on Rodriguez versus United States, which makes him even more pissed off and starts cornering Chili and putting his hands on Chili at the 45 to 49 second mark. So at this point, I'm going to have Michael roll the footage from this 24-second mark, right? Is that where we're at right now?
Yes, sir. 24, sir.
All the way to the 49-second mark, so everybody can hear exactly what I just went over and watch it.
Copy that.
Turn it all the way up so they can
Actually, I'm standing right here. I'm at least 10 feet away, officer. I got to tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You
Wait,
can do
pause
whatever
it,
you
pause
want,
it,
but just
pause it,
understand
pause it.
something. Your name will go on the lawsuit. Mind your own
Mike,
fucking
pause it.
business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go feed her.
You're being detained right now.
Okay, then detain me. Oh, she's free. Oh, you're going to detain a journalist?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mike, go back, roll it back up to like the 24-second mark again. Because I want to point out something on the video on Chili's lower left-hand corner.
Okay.
Keep scrolling.
Actually,
little
I'm
by
standing right here.
little.
I'm at least
Pause
10 feet
it
away,
right
officer.
here.
I got to tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want, but just understand something.
Go back.
Your name will go on the lawsuit.
Pause the
Mind your own
video.
fucking business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of
Mike,
the press.
pause
Go
the
get in your car and do
video. You're not hearing me, buddy.
Yeah, I stopped it.
No, you stopped it past. Look, a few seconds after you started, look at the lower left hand and see that Chili's already crossed the white line. Remember the one he was in front of?
Okay, so you're saying go back to
Right
24.
there. Yeah, look right there. And he's going to scroll down another second forward, and you're going to see he's
10 feet
clearly past the white mark.
away,
Yes.
officer. I got to tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want,
Okay. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going from here. I just want
but
to
just understand something. Your name will go on the lawsuit. Mind your own fucking business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go feed her.
You're being detained right now.
Okay, then detain me.
Okay, so you want to
Ma'am, you're
explain?
free to go.
You want to explain the significance of what he just said to her?
He said, ma'am, you're free to go. He has to release her from the stop because, like Chili points out, Rodriguez versus United States, you cannot extend the stop. That cop pulled her over, found out she had a suspended license and expired registration. At that point, he had ample enough time to write the ticket or warning and release her among her way. Now, he didn't do that. He decided to prolong and extend the stop to get confrontational with Chili and give him some unlawful commands.
Okay, so that's your opinion. I don't know that everybody's going to have that same opinion, but that is a plausible opinion.
Well, Mike, she's being detained longer than she humanly possible, according to the Supreme Court ruling. Wren versus United States and Terry versus Ohio.
I don't know how long she was at the was stopped, but I don't want to get off that because I think this is more important.
Based on the body cam prior to this, it was almost 5 or 8 minutes before Chili
got
showed
it.
up.
Okay, so the context is that what BZ is saying is that he extended the stop too long, that there's a reasonable amount of time as determined by the Supreme Court and other state courts that it should only be for a few minutes, basically, and that 5 minutes or longer was simply too long, and that's a plausible argument. So let's just keep going and look at what he does, though. He dismisses her and lets her go. So here we go.
Go feed her.
You're being detained right now.
Okay, then detain me.
Ma'am, you're free to go. So let's just talk about that and what significance that has, because I don't remember that ever being argued at the trial.
No, and if he didn't do that, I think right now he's doing that to cover his ass so he doesn't lose qualified immunity.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just saying that if she had been released from the stop, what was the point in approaching Chili at all? I mean, he could have just let her go on her way and just kind of just laugh Chili off like a lot of these other cops do. Like in LA, the cops just kind of look at him and they're kind of amused by him and they just let him go on his way.
Well,
but out here, it looks
Mike,
like they want to go to war with him. It looks like.
Mike,
I don't know. You tell me.
This is retaliatory because, look, when he calls him a little doggy,
right, I understand.
Bork's head breaks eye contact and walks towards him. That is the purpose of letting her go and continuing and escalating what's going on. Because you're right. Yeah. He could have just let his ego go, which we all know they can't do, and just end the stop, get back in the car, and move on with his day. but no, he had to make it about being insulted.
Well, okay. So in his defense, and let me just share something with you. Okay, you can tell that this girl's obviously got a crush on Chili. Just Google Gaga. And look, I've been around Chili. I've seen people walk in a room with him, and he literally sucks all the oxygen out of the room. The guy has star quality. It's just one of those things, eccentric personality, and that's just the way it is, man. And so you could see that she didn't feel threatened by him. The reason I'm saying that is because even that officer knew Chili wasn't a threat. I mean, I know Chili knows martial arts or whatever, but Chili's like the last guy that's ever going to put his hands on you. The guy he's a puppy dog. He's got this cool little dog. Charlie. Yeah. I mean, whatever you guys are saying about him, I don't see him being like any of that stuff. And so anyways, let's just move forward. Where you want me to keep on playing?
Yeah, go ahead and take it all the way to like 49 seconds, just to show how he yells Supreme Court case law at him.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, she's free. Oh, you're going to detain a journalist? Yes. 2015, Rodriguez. Don't.
Okay. There he is, Mr. Cool. And that girl in the car is just giggling. And now she has been set free, so she's free to go on her way.
Now, if you watch in the background for the next 40 seconds, you'll see her having to wait for Chili and Officer Borg over here to move out of the way. Okay. Resistance is futile. Trust me. There's going to be a shirt. Okay. There's going to be a shirt of that soon.
How far forward do you want me to go?
So go to show how she in the background is actually driving away all slow.
Okay.
And how this could have all been avoided if somebody's feelings weren't hurt.
Okay, here we go.
Don't put your hands on me. Come over. Don't touch me. Don't put your fucking hands on me. You're not. I gotta make sure. Hey guys, make sure you guys get my.
See how she's trying to she can't pull away yet. She's way in front of the car.
So you ended the stop, you dunce cap. Did you just end the stop? So that's a 2015 case. No.
He's really something. Citing case law.
Bring your supervisor, please.
Wait, stop.
Bring your supervisor, please.
Stop it right there, Mike.
All right.
So wait. So after it gets out of hand and he can't control the situation, he's now calling for a backup unit. What happened to 3 minutes ago when he was obviously a big threat?
Well, either way, I think that's more policy because the officer already admitted that he didn't see Chili as a threat. So let's keep going. Tell me where you want me to stop, man.
Just keep going.
All right.
Don't touch me. You don't get to put your hands on me. Don't grab me. Don't grab me. Listen, you're not. First get your supervisor out here. You're not just going to grab me and throw me on the ground. You've already released her. You've already released her. This is 2015 Rodriguez versus United States.
So you want to talk about that Rodriguez versus United States? Does anybody want to put in the comments anything about Rodriguez the United States?
2015 is basically like we talked about, ample enough time to write a ticket instead of sitting there and extending the stop to be lawfully detained longer than you need to, so that way they can call for a dog to come basically sniff out your vehicle, just so it can basically violate your rights and try to go on that fishing expedition.
Well, I'm just looking at comments in the sidebar. If anybody has any questions for BZ Watchdog. So hold on a minute.
The cop looks like that depressed guy on The Office. Ain't that the fact?
All right. So
the Bork looks like chili shit in his Cheerios.
Okay, let's go back to the video here. Tell me when you want me to stop.
Screensaver right there.
Tell me when you want me to stop. Stop.
Keep going.
They give me a bunch of OTVOs, by the way, if you guys like this so far. Do you like it that from what I saw?
Put a one. Put a bunch of
ones.
One if you like it, two if you don't.
Because from what I saw, guys, is there was no reason for Chili to really do anything. The woman had already been dismissed, so the stop was over. What was the point of tangling with Chili at that point? Put it in the comments. What do you guys think the reason was? Okay, where do you want me to go, big dog? Tell me where to play to.
Oh, you can keep just going through, like, just you'll see the car in the back. I just like listening to Chili going off on this guy like he crapped.
All right, here we go. Everybody listen up.
I'll walk right in front of your car. Let's go. Sure, come on.
No, wait.
Hey,
Pause it
no,
right there.
No, I'm
Stand
a constitutional law scholar. You
Okay. Now, you guys saw how far away they were at this point away from the car, right? It's like more like 60 feet at this point. Okay. Go back about 6 seconds, Mike. Just about 6 seconds.
All
Just
right,
where
stand
he tells them to start going, and we turn around and see how far the patrol car is away.
This is pretty good right here. Here we go.
I'll walk right in front of your car. Let's go. Sure,
Pause
come on.
it right here.
Come on.
Now, he
Oh,
said,
yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, he got hit for a resisting charge as
Yeah.
he's told to walk to the car. Now, look how far that car is. That's over 2 parking spots. Okay. Chili does stop in the middle and turn around and give him some lip, but then continues over to the car. Now, the
So
only
you're
reason-
saying this distance here is about 60 feet,
I'm saying
and
that's roughly about 60 feet.
and the officer had to close that distance to come to Chili, who was actually backing up in order to close that distance. And the car was right over here on the left.
Yeah,
But
that was in the first spot there, and Chili
Yeah.
was in front of the white line initially by about a shoe size.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then this whole other section, and then out in the middle of the road there, he's telling him to go to his car. Now, he got hit for a resisting charge
Yeah.
only because Bork, he wouldn't walk fast enough. He wouldn't walk to the speed and the quickness that Bork wanted him to. And we've
Well,
we've
yeah, I
seen
mean,
it every-
that makes sense.
and we've seen it in
Yeah.
every case when you get arrested, that they always throw a resisting charge on you, even when you're not resisting.
Yeah.
But we can
Always.
No.
That's look, everybody who doesn't know that, like, they also teach you to always, when you're beating someone or
call it out.
handcuffing them,
I'm not.
don't resist,
resisting.
don't resist. It's just part of the training.
I'm
You always
not
say that,
resisting.
right? You always don't resist. That's why you always want to say, I'm not resisting. So, let me
But
see
watch,
here.
but watch how long it takes him. What second mark are you at right now?
Looks like I'm at 139.
139. I'm gonna write that down. So 139, and then when we get to the patrol car, pause it. I want to see how long it takes.
All right. Tell me when to go, man.
Go.
All right.
Come
here we
on.
go.
You need to set the phone
Hey,
down.
no. I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can't take away
Set
my
the
phone.
phone down.
I'm now in
You're being detained. You're being.
Please.
Now you're going to put hands on me.
No,
Come over here.
Why are you grabbing me?
Come over here.
Sure.
So, hey, people, put a bunch of ones in the comment if you think that Chili wasn't grabbing anybody and that was kind of a low blow for the cop to say that. Put it in the comments if you think that was BS, because obviously Chili wasn't grabbing him. Chili knows better. He's trying to create distance.
Well, you notice how Bort's looking right at his camera right now.
Yeah. He's trying to take his camera away.
He tried to violate the First Amendment by telling him to put it down.
So, to me, objectively, if I was on a jury, I would think that he's trying to get Chili's camera away from him. Okay,
Well,
we're
that's
gonna
what he
keep
did.
playing.
He reached for it when he said, "Put your phone down." He
Yeah.
goes, "I'm not putting my phone down."
And he also made a lot of comments at trial, like, well, he wouldn't stop filming. I mean, he kind of gave himself away, but here, let's just keep going.
Sure.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Over here.
Let the phone roll.
I don't care about the phone.
Why are you grabbing
Turn
me?
around.
I don't
I
care
don't
about
care
the
about
phone.
the
I don't
phone.
care about
I'm
your
not
First
doing
Amendment
You're
right.
being detained.
I'm not
now.
doing
Turn
anything.
around.
Give your phone.
Stop.
All right, you go ahead, stop it right now at this point. What
Roger
mark are
that.
we at?
So hopefully the
mark are we at?
audience got enough of Chili, but I'll try to.
What mark are we at when he goes down?
I think it was around 150 or something, right about here. But I'll leave this up on the screen so we have a nice background to look at.
Okay, so 11 seconds. So that wasn't fast enough for Bork.
Well, yeah, I'm not really sure, but I think that we know that the so-called 12-foot rule has really no applicability. We know
21
that
foot.
21 foot, whatever, even 12. I say 12 foot because I think that, me personally, that 10 to 12 feet, if I was a cop, yeah, I would probably want that for reals. Like if I
10,
was a
maybe
cop,
10, maybe a 15-foot
yeah.
buffer.
But I would always be like in a tactical situation. I would always have myself tactically in such a situation.
Yep.
That as a one-man officer, I would be able to handle that situation. At least in my heart, I know that I could handle that. I wouldn't put
it's kind of
myself
like
in a
it's kind of like
tactical
Carolina's
situation like
video
that.
we watched the other day. That officer sacrificed his safety and put his back to Carolina,
Right.
she posed no threat. So
Right. That's evidence. That's potential evidence that of his state of mind, that he viewed the person filming as not a threat. Yes, that's true.
but if you notice, Bork got out with an attitude and a demeanor towards Chili in a very aggressive manner, where
Yeah.
with the body cam footage on the other girl, where we got to watch it 8 minutes or 10 minutes prior to him sitting in the car and Chili showing up on scene.
Yeah.
His demeanor was very, very polite and flirtatious with that young girl. But yet all of a sudden, when Chili stepped up, it was almost like somebody was rooster blocking. And he didn't like Chili. Oh, you know what? And that girl kind of did like Chili.
I heard somebody say that I heard somebody say that the officer was probably trying to hit on the girl, but I don't know. He probably just had a bad day. Chili came at him, but he obviously, I'm just telling you from knowing Chili. Let me look at this guy. The guy looks like a movie star. All right. And the cop knew he wasn't a threat. The chicks goo goo gaga over him. And you have Chili getting arrested because he's popping off. I mean, he reminds me of guys I went to high school with. But the thing is, as I showed you all earlier, let's just take a look at this really quick. He has the right to verbally do all that stuff and even get close if he's filming, to hold the government accountable. He has a right to do that. And guess what? As long as there's no physical interference. So to create this legal fiction that he's interfering or obstructing, and somehow verbal interference trumps the U.S. Constitution, I think we've got a constitutional question here. And what's sad is you see so many cases like this just getting sent to the county jail grinder because there's no lawyers out there who will pick up the fight and help these people. And I know a lot of the times it's because these people aren't making money, contrary to all the misinformation and disinformation and all the garbage you see from government, state-run media, news channels, and the official sources. These people are not making a killing on their YouTube channels. Unless you've got millions and millions of followers, you're probably making $50 here and there. It's nothing. It's a joke. It's almost like just to prove that you made it. It's almost like a badge of honor, like a typing badge in the army. Hey, I got a typing badge, but it's not a way to make money. So just don't let all that follow your brain and do some research. So,
hey, Mike, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you check your email real quick? I just sent you a link.
Yeah. Stand by really quick, everybody. Just
sorry, this is kind of like a prompt right here.
Just understand that Chili had the right to film and shout out aggressively at the cops. I'm just going to put that up on the screen for everybody to see that, because I want you all to be able to look up the cases. All right. I want you to be able to look at the case law and see for yourself. It's Fordyce. That's an F, v. Seattle and Bernal. I'm looking for an email real quick here. Stand by. Platoon. All right. So we've got.
Just pull up the link.
I got it, man. I'm going to put it on the screen right now, man.
Okay. Do me a favor. Go all the way down to 3815.
Wait, stand by. Let me get it on the screen real quick, sir. Sir, this private has to add the link, sir.
Permission granted.
All right. Stand by.
Because, the obstruction charge in Nevada is like a little itty bitty thing. Texas likes to get very detailed. I just kind of want to show people.
Yeah.
They even slap you here, but this is your defense. Now, 3815.
So where do you want me to go? What page? Give me a page number, man.
Oh, I don't have a page number. It's just a link. Go to 30. It should be right there. Blow it up.
What section is it?
38.
What section?
Section 38.15.
Stand by. Stand by. 38.15. Stand by. It's coming up, man. All right. Sir, mission accomplished, sir.
Okay, now right under 822 Health and Safety Code, where it says subsection 7, a person who.
Hold on, let me find this. What I see 38.115.
No, not 38.115, 38.15.
Oh, 38.1. Okay, it's up further.
It's 38. It's 38.15.
Yeah, I'll find it. I just thought it was further down.
Well, it's going to be further down than 38.115. It's going to be further down.
Yeah. Just do push-ups.
Well, I'll make sure you do 100 when we
Yeah.
get done.
So it goes to 38.11 to 38.
0.15 is where you want to go.
Yeah, but it's not giving me that option. Look at that. It goes straight to 38.111.
Keep going down. Keep going all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Keep going down.
It goes to 38.115.
Keep going down a lot further.
Okay.
Like a couple pages.
There we go. 38.15. Sir.
Okay, now go about halfway down that section to where it says 7. You see
Yeah,
1, 2,
7.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Person
7?
who?
Okay, now if you go down A, B, C, D.
Yep.
Now go down to the left, B, C, and look at C. It is a defense to prosecution.
Safety and security of the site. That's why they're trying to push him back 60 feet.
No. What I'm saying is, like, let me see what you got written because I can't see your screen. It's so small.
No,
Hang
it
on.
says here a person is
No.
acting. in
Keep going down. Keep going down. You're a little further down. The other C.
Okay, so right now I'm at 38.15.
No. I see where you're highlighting.
Seven,
Go down like
sub 7, sub C.
keep going. Move your cursor down 2 more lines.
It is a defense right
Right there.
here. Got it.
As an attorney, you would love to defend that obstruction charge right there.
It is a defense to prosecution. He was intended to warn a person operating a motor vehicle. But we don't know what his intent was. I don't
No,
even
hang
think
on. I'm sorry. I must have clicked on the wrong one. Oh, right underneath that one. I'm sorry. D. Go to D. Right below that C.
Yeah. It is a defense to the prosecution under this section that the interruption, disruption, impediment, or inference of alleged consisted of speech only. Well, that is a defense, and I'll tell you something, guys. I didn't see that. It's also a defense. It looks like.
Now, just to let you know, this is Texas penal codes because they are more detailed in Texas on the obstruction charge because they're trying to get
okay.
you
So you're
every
saying
little
that this
thing.
is Texas. Okay.
This
So
is
everybody
Texas.
understand he's showing us Texas and he's showing us
Nevada.
apparently the difference
Nevada
between
has this-
Texas and Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada has this like very little itty bitty code for obstruction and resisting, almost like it's the same code.
Right.
And
Well,
it's very vague. And it's very vague.
Either way, what we see is even with that being the case, that Nevada it has a problem because they have to square the Fordyce case and the Bernal case. They have to square In re Chase. You know, he has, you know, it specifically says he can interfere, you know, as long as it's not physical, and there was never any physical interference. So,
Well, you know, in your case,
how does that square? It's a protected activity.
right?
Why are the courts ignoring the fact that they're engaged, but they're specifically saying YouTube? Well, that means they know it's a First Amendment activity, right? They say it as a basis to lock you up, right? They're saying YouTube, but they're not allowing a defense of First Amendment. Are you kind of following this a little bit?
Oh yeah, because they can.
No, what I'm saying is I think only the federal courts are going to be able to do this. And a lot of the people that I've spoken to they don't even want to try to go to the ACLU because of the connection between the state of Nevada and the court system here. They just they don't feel that it's going to be it's even going to be worth their time. So
Mike,
how do we help
is-
people? How do we help people, Basil, when the
Mike,
ACLU has such a strong tie with the government, the local
Well, that's
government?
where we have to go in. Like, we have to do something because look, you've got this case right here on where was that? It's in federal or is that a district and circuit? I can't see that.
It's a federal case.
Okay, so
This
you got a
case is
federal
the
case
this is
law
the
there.
so this is Chase. Well, actually, wait a minute. So this is a California state case, but Chase is a California case, but it's cited by Fordyce, and so Fordyce is the federal case that makes where they're basically it's very persuasive to the point where the federal jurisdiction is upholding this particular.
But what I'm saying is, if we got California ruling in favor of saying that it's protected, we got a federal law stating it. We got Texas code for obstruction saying that speech is protected, even though they violate
that's not going to help him. It's just it's a good way to show the
No,
difference.
I'm not saying it's specific for Chile. I'm talking about setting the precedence bar federally because of all these lower courts and police agencies doing what they want to do. And making
I think the only way that this is that there's gonna be a positive ending to this is, number one, if there's some real journalists out there who aren't just working for-profit media or some nonprofit, non-government organization that's getting a tax subsidy.
Even news media outlets, they're still getting paid. They're still paid journalists.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There has to be a real journalist out there that's not part of the for-profit news media, because if there is, they're not going to report things honestly. They're going to go with the official narrative that, oh, these are just a bunch of crazy people and we need to throw them in jail, and they're mentally ill because they're sovereign citizens, and we've decided because we know what's best for you. And it just reminds me of the suicidal tendencies. Remember that? All I Wanted Was a Pepsi. Do you guys ever remember that punk rock song? All I wanted was a Pepsi, but she wouldn't give it to me. Just one Pepsi. You know, I'm not crazy. The institution. You're the one that's crazy. The institution. It's a really cool song.
Probably
Punk rocker from California. What do you expect?
Probably before my time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm an old geezer. Yeah, I saw Public Image Limited live. I saw DOA.
Hey, Dan Shuey agrees with you. He says it's an awesome song, and just following orders says just one Pepsi.
I saw GBH. I saw Social Distortion. Mike Ness played in my neighbor's garage from Social Distortion. So that was pretty cool. You know, I was, Anaheim Hills, like punk rock, man. Saw, Susie and the Banshees, Toy Dolls, The Addicts.
You know what?
English Dogs.
I'm the Poppy brings up a very funny statement. It says, I don't care if you love chili or hate chili or like chili. Being sentenced to 180 days after the person who is prosecuting you asked for a suspended sentence is crazy.
Yeah, well, guys, that the judge has the ability to do that. But in this case, it looks like she's not running again for office, which is good, because I'm getting a lot of people going, man, coming to me saying, we got to, we got to change this judicial system here. A lot of people, like on both sides, conservative and liberal, just going, man, this, like, put it in the comments if any of you want to reach out to the ACLU and see if they'll help out. If you give me a bunch of ones if you think that they're going to help, or give me a bunch of twos if you think they're not. I'm very concerned because I really do believe this was a prior restraint on speech. This 21-foot rule has to do with shooting someone. The officer brought himself within the 21-foot rule on his own. And it's not a rule. It's simply a policy or an idea. It's principle.
An unwritten principle.
It's a principle. It's not law. And the case law that there is out there is depublished, and it's not to be cited, not to be relied upon. But for some reason, many prosecutors rely on bad law because the courts will let them get away with it, or a bad defense attorney simply won't argue the proper arguments, or not submit the arguments properly or in time. Now, guys, let's look into the sidebar. Let's look at the comments and see if there's any questions or answers we can offer about tomorrow. I will attend to verify my letter of support, because I know that the brief that was submitted to the court wasn't signed. So I'm going to appear as, just in case the court denies the motion based upon it not being verified or whatever, not having signed letters. I don't know what the rules of evidence are in Nevada. I don't want to risk it. So at least he has one letter of support. Now, I don't feel that confident that he's going to get the sentence held in abeyance based upon the procedural posture of this case and outstanding out-of-state issues that people are talking about. Go ahead, BZ, talk to me.
I just saw Brick Petition says Las Vegas does have a citizens review board, and I believe he's correct. I believe there's some sort of citizens review board, but I don't know what they're able to do this far late in the game.
Yeah, well, they do have a commission on judicial discipline, and there was a case against her for letting a case proceed, apparently, where a victim needed to be there. I don't know the full story, so I don't want to say anything.
Jeff Berkland brings up a good point, which I think you brought up earlier. It says that thing I'm amazed at is that It appears Nevada doesn't allow for a jury trial on misdemeanors. Am I right on that? If not, Chili and his attorney were complete idiots for not requesting.
So we did cover this earlier in the video, but in Nevada, the way it works is, from my understanding of the law, again, you would have to contact a practicing lawyer in Nevada, but based upon my research that I found online and from other sources that I feel are quality sources, that if you're charged with more than one misdemeanor, you're automatically, or a felony, one misdemeanor or a felony, more,
Or
so
domestic violence.
two misdemeanors or more, or domestic violence. Yes, correct. Good job, man. Good job. Then you are entitled to a full-blown jury trial. But in Nevada, even though you can be locked up for 6 months, if it's only one misdemeanor and it's up to 180 days that you could be confined, then you're not entitled to a jury trial. But in this case, Chili faced 2 charges. So we did discuss this in the slideshow, but I'm happy to discuss it again. Some people feel that either Chili or his legal team must have waived the right to a jury trial, which may have been fatal in this case. But there are a lot of other tribal issues that should have, and objections that I feel should have been made. And I believe that there are some prior restraint issues that should have been addressed. Keep talking, BZ, and I'm going to look in the sidebar to see if there's any questions that I can answer.
That's kind of what I was doing, was looking in there because, why does he need a lawyer if he's such a scholar? Well, even lawyers need lawyers. So,
Yeah. Well, that's just silly. But now one of the comments from I Am the Pappy says, if you go there and protest, or if his supporters try to protest him, all of a sudden you're going to be an insurrectionist. Well, see, that's what they want. Yeah, they do want to paint people like you and anybody who supports the Constitution. We just saw that whistleblower at the FBI exposed that the FBI is trying to paint Christians and people who buy Bibles and guns as potential domestic violent extremists. We know why they're doing that, because they don't support natural law. I mean, if there's no creator, there's no rights, and they want to restrict your rights. And that's what
hey,
all big
Mike,
corporations
look what Free Country said.
Let's
I live 3 houses from a Vegas cop.
What I'm trying to find. Free Country. I lived 3 houses, and okay, so there's bad people everywhere. I don't even want to keep that.
No,
up
but
there.
don't put it up on the screen. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is they say it took him 11 years to jail him because of the cover-ups.
Okay, so that is a real thing, and at least in California, that's a real thing, and that happens. That's that thin blue line that Chili hates so much, and that's why, sometimes the Ninth Circuit gets it right, and on this one, and a lot of the other the following federal decisions, it made it very clear. He's got the right to be a jerk. He's got the right to interfere as long as it's not physical while he's filming, and that's what the case law says now, and that's based on Fordyce. And obviously, I'm going to have to shepherdize these cases, guys. So don't cite them as positive law in your briefs. Again, I encourage everybody who looks at anything that I post on anywhere to do your own research, because I'm not here to try and give you legal advice. I'm here to help you think like a lawyer and to learn legal principles so that you can better understand your rights, so you don't get thrown in jail, and so that you can be able to support your families. And I also teach people like you guys how to become better at marketing, how to run your businesses better. I teach physical fitness, shooting classes. So the reason I'm doing this right now is because a guy who I think has a lot of good things that he could contribute to society as a lawyer is in jail, and I think that he's unjustly confined. So let me answer questions.
We got about 2 minutes, Mike.
Yeah, you guys cut in.
1 minute.
You guys cut it. Okay, so we got 1 minute. Everybody. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bug out, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the great Leviathan is going to come and try to censor this channel. Never know when Big Brother is going to try to shut us down. So I just want all you people to know that we're going to be at the court tomorrow. Reach out to OTVO if you have any other questions about tomorrow's hearing. Don't show up wearing shirts and stuff. The court might consider it disruptive, and it'll make us look like crazy people to the press. Just show up in a suit if you're going to show up. Look squared away, and just be a squared away person and try to act civil. That's all you can do. And meet me afterwards, and we'll have a coffee. With that being said, Semper Fidelis, do or die. Bye. I think we got it. Okay, we're done.